This video is about the fact that I had a mother who was an ultra-feminist, and I had to live with her for 18 years until I left the house, and I listened to her feminism my whole life, and the things that she said, the way she treated me, the way she treated my father, the way she talked about men. She's an ultra-feminist. And I'm not going to remember everything that she said and did, but I will say that having a woman as an ultra-feminist, as a parent, in this case to a son, is a horrible experience for the son. So she would tell me things like, I wish you were never born. How do you know I'm your mother? She was very abusive emotionally, verbally, physically. She would play pranks on me. I'm going to give you an example. She would put my shoes outside the house. And I would go looking for them, and she would see me looking for them all the time. And I would ask her, where are my shoes? And she said, I don't wear your shoes. That's what she would say. And she would say it a lot more aggressively and mean. And she said, go look outside at some point. And I went and looked outside, there'd be my shoes. And this happened again and again and again and again, to the point where I learned, and keep in mind, I'm a child. At some point I realized, just go look outside. But then what happened is one day I couldn't find my shoes. I went and looked outside, they weren't there. And my mother would sit there and watch me walking all over the house trying to find my shoes. And this time they were out back. I thought that was weird. And as a child, I was very naive and clueless. And then as an adult, I realized she was playing pranks on me. When I knew that she would put them outside in the front, when I learned that, she pranked me by no longer putting them in the front and then putting them in the back. That's the type of things that my mother did to me. And there was way, way more worse. She was very abusive to my father. She would say things like, I wear the pants in the family. But she wouldn't say it politely. She would always scream it. Everything she said, she was screaming. And my father put up with it. He tolerated it. So what I noticed is that she would test my father. She would say feminist things or demean him in private to see how he would react. And then she would say it in front of the whole family. And I noticed that it was a short time thereafter. So like if she knew that the family was going to come over on Sunday, maybe on Wednesday she would say something demeaning to see how he would react. And then on Sunday she would say it in front of everyone. She would do things like that. She once dressed me up like a girl. It was for Halloween. She got me high heel shoes, put a dress on, lipstick, makeup, maybe a wig. I don't remember. And I went along with it. And I just remember her coming up with the idea. It was her idea. It was not my idea. And I remember, I went along with it. I thought I was excited. And I remember showing up at my grandmother's house. I really don't remember any other part of the Halloween. But as an adult, I wish she had never done it. It's an inappropriate way to treat your son. And it's a bad memory for me right now. She used to always say, I wish you were a girl. I wanted a girl. She would say, I wanted a girl, not a boy. And I actually did have a sister and a brother. And she would always segregate us. My sister could be with her, but me and my brother could not. And I'm going to give you an example. I needed to buy something for school. And I said, Mom, I got to go to Kmart. And I was just a teen, and the Kmart's far away. You have to be driven by a parent. And I think it was I needed index cards or something. And my mother refused to take me. And one day I saw her getting her stuff ready, and she mentioned she was going to Kmart. And said, I need to go. I got to get those index cards. And then she said, no, just Joanne. My sister's name is Joanne. And she wouldn't take me. Because she was mean. She was just mean to me. I never misbehaved as a child. It's just absolute nonsense. I was not a child who misbehaved. I avoided my mother all the time. I got to the point when I was 12 years old that when I came home, I went straight to my room, and that was it. That's how I dealt with it, and I just closed the door. I actually did not. I don't want to just do general abuse. I want to do more about her feminist nature. She would say things like, I can do anything a man can do. She would say stupid things like that. But she can't. I mean, she never mowed the lawn. She wouldn't even put gas in the car. I had to put the gas in the car as a child. because she couldn't do it. Women didn't do things like that when we were younger. You know, obviously now they do, but they didn't do that when we were younger. And so there were probably other things. Those are just off the top of my head, some of the things. Okay, here's another thing she said. We had a neighbor's child, no, a friend's child over. He was an Indian boy. And he was at an age where he was inquisitive. So he was saying, why this, why that, why this, why that? And he said to her, my mother, why are you putting on makeup? No, what are you doing putting on makeup? Why? And she said, because I want to look beautiful. And he said, why? He said, because I want people to like me. And he said, why? She said, don't you want people to like you when you get older? She made some sort of a comment like that. And I couldn't, you know, I'm living in the house. And it wasn't when I was 18 because the boy's parents got divorced at some point, and they weren't friends anymore with my mother. And my mother told her to divorce her husband because they have an Indian tradition where the wife washes the husband's feet. Is the reason why I was told. She convinced her friend to divorce him, and they were both nice people, and it was sad. So I had to have been, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that. And I was like, how could you say something like that to this child, to instill in him the importance of being a beautiful person, to be liked? I mean, that's wrong. I didn't prepare a list of all the feminist things that she did, but that's what she was. She was a feminist, and she was a horrible, horrible person, and she really turned me off to feminism at a very early age. Okay, so any questions or comments, post below.